Aloha everyone, Michelle Molinas here live, and I am in Santa Cruz, California. I'm using a certain mic that you can kind of hear more sound. If a lot of noise gets going on, I'm going to actually switch it to my headset. So a lot of times I'm in a kind of an apartment area, and sometimes if there's more sound than I'd like, I'm going to switch it to my headset, but this is the better sound. What's up, Michael, Eva? So glad you guys joined me. Teresa, Singha. If you want to write where you're from in the chat, that would be great. This call, this live call is about empowering yourself. Number one way to empower yourself. I'm going to be talking about that. Normally these calls, these interviews are 20 minutes. This one's probably going to go a little bit longer. And I invite you to ask questions or comment. If this stuff is resonating with you, let me know. If you have any questions about it, let me know that too. I want to just thank you guys for joining the summit, Blossom Inner Wellness Global Summit. We're going to do another one. It's going to be called Gift Inner Wellness, and that'll be in December, with some new speakers from around the world, helping you feel good in your body and safe in the world. So this call is, or this interview, or this, it's not an interview, but this is me, the video, is number one way to empower yourself to feel safe in the world right now. I freaking love this information so much. And just a little bit quick about me. If you guys, you probably know me about me already. I've written End Dieting Hell. It's actually won 4 awards now. I just got another award for it a few weeks ago. That book is based on the program that I run called End Dieting Hell: How to Live in a Body That You Love. And what happened was, basically really quick, in 2007, when I became a weight loss specialist, I could help women lose weight, no problem, but they wouldn't keep it off. And for me, I didn't think that was fair. I didn't think it was fair that people would pay me to help them lose weight, but they couldn't keep it off. I wasn't giving them the tools and the tips to help them sustain the weight loss that they got with me. So I went on a mission to find out why. And what I learned was that the body, because of trauma, trauma can happen at a young age, it can happen at an older age. But what happens is, if you feel frustrated, you can't lose weight every single day. If you don't like your body, if you feel not good enough, if you feel ashamed or guilty about the way that you look, that frequency becomes an emotional addiction in the cells of your body. And if this makes sense to you, please let me know in the chat, because I'm going to be checking out the chat a lot. I have it here up for me live. So what happens is, you go on a diet, but if you start losing weight and your body is not conditioned to think that you feel good enough in your life and in your body, or you like your body, then what's going to happen is you're going to get excited about that weight loss. But within 4 to 6 weeks, you will sabotage yourself. And what happens, it happens like this. It happens because the body actually communicates with the mind. The mind communicates with the body, but the body and the heart also talk to the brain. And I learned this and I was like, what? I didn't know this. I thought, you have your thoughts, but this is why if you go on a diet and you're thinking to yourself, okay, you all of a sudden you feel like after 4 to 6 weeks, all of a sudden you get a feeling like, I've been really good, I'm going to have dessert. And your mind goes, oh, you really shouldn't do that. But your body and your heart go, oh yeah, this is going to feel really good. And the reason why that's happening is because your heart and your mind are not in sync. Your heart and your mind are not in sync. And if that happens, and that does happen with the emotional addiction of, I don't like my body, I'm frustrated, I can't lose weight, I don't feel good enough, that's telling you, with those thoughts and feelings, that's telling you your heart and mind are not lined up. The problem is that your heart is 100 times more electrically powerful than your brain. That means by you sitting here, you're actually emanating out of the frequency coming from your body is coming from your heart, not your mind, not your thoughts. It also is 5,000 times more magnetic than your brain. Your heart is. So that means the things that are pulling to you are actually coming from your heart. So in order to live in a body you love, this is why I created my book. And then I'm going to go into the empowerment, how to feel empowered, how to be empowered at this time. And I promise you, if you are watching this and you are feeling afraid about what's happening in the world, and you're feeling uncertain about where your next paycheck is going to come from, by the end of this call, you will be in a completely new place. So I promise you that. So stay with me as I finish this conversation about the weight. So when you go on a diet and when you feel that part that sabotages yourself, it's because you feel normal struggling with your weight. You actually know who you are struggling with your weight. And what that is not only a vibrational frequency, it's an emotion, it's a feeling, but it's also a vibrational frequency, and it's also chemicals in your body that create that feeling. So I was researching some Bruce Lipton stuff, and Bruce Lipton is an amazing quantum physicist, and he was talking about consciousness and perception, and who you are is actually the perception of how you see yourself, your labels that you have put on yourself. So women who struggle with their weight most of their life, they have a label. I'm somebody who struggles with my weight. I actually had a client, a member in my retreat. I run Hawaiian retreats, and she got really mad at me because I said, "You're not somebody who struggles with their weight. And she says, "Yes, I am, Michelle. I've been struggling with my weight most of my life." I said, "No, actually," I said, "you're actually someone who's emotionally addicted to the feeling of struggling with your weight. The feeling is actually what the addiction is. So you're actually not addicted to the food. You're actually addicted to the feeling of comfort that food gives to you." So that is what the End Dieting Hell book is about. If you haven't gotten that book, it's on Amazon. And that's what the End Dieting Hell program is about. I actually teach you how to shift that frequency. But this call is about empowering yourself. So how do you empower yourself? What is the number one way to empower yourself? The number one way to empower yourself is to actually understand your perceptions of who you think you are and understand really what you are. To understand the perceptions of who you think you are, the labels that you've put on yourself. I'm a father, I'm a mother, I am whatever career you have, I'm a fitness trainer, whatever label that you have, is to really understand the perceptions of yourself and also to understand what you are. And what you are is a unique expression of the infinite intelligence that is all around us. You guys remember the first call I did, the very first call I did in the summit, which was in the encore. I hope you guys watched that, because that one talked about how you are connected to everything. We all are connected to everything in the entire universe. This empty space that's around me and is around your body, I want you to right now feel into the empty space that's around you. Just close your eyes for 10 seconds. And I want you to feel into the empty space that touches your body and touches the walls around you. And I want you to take a deep breath, and I want you to feel the empty space that is just in your room. Feel into all of the empty space that goes around the furniture, up to the ceiling, down to the floor, and all to the walls. And take a deep breath and feel into that empty space. That's a frequency. And your perceptions of who you think you are. Hi, Lori, Eva, and Teresa, and Michael, and Pam. And thank you for joining me. I'd love to know where you guys are from. So if you guys put that in there, that'd be great. And but your perceptions of who you think you are. I'm someone who struggles with their weight most of my life. This is my clients. Most of my life I've struggled with my weight. I don't like my body. I don't feel good enough. I'm constantly comparing myself to others, judging who I am. I'm constantly feeling guilty about the choices that I make. Those are a frequency. That's all they are. They're a frequency in your body. And that frequency is literally telling your brain how to act and what to say in certain situations, and what to do, and how you be with other people, because that's the label you have. I'm a dad. So when my children are around, you have a certain frequency in your body, protector, watching my kids, I am the one, in charge. They come to me, they ask questions. That's all a perception, and that's a frequency in your body. Now, Bruce Lipton was really, really cool. And I'm going to look at some of my notes here because there's something I really wanted to share with you, which I have not shared. And the The labels, yes. So Bruce Lipton, he has a definition for consciousness. Its perception is the foundational unit of consciousness. Perception is the fundamental unit of consciousness. And this is from Bruce Lipton. So let me explain what consciousness is and where your perceptions are in your body. Oh, for somebody's from Canada, Michael, thank you for that. Canada and California, aloha. I'm in California right now, but I live on the Big Island, like Santa Cruz. So check this out, you guys. This is so crazy amazing. So your cell, let's pretend that this fist is a cell. When you have a perception which comes down from your brain, it's actually called a peptide, and it's actually a protein that comes down from your brain. And it goes into, there's fingers. These fingers are receptors. And each of these receptors connects to a peptide. And the peptide is coming from your brain. It's a feeling, and it's actually an emotion. The feelings are what you label the emotion. So this is crazy amazing. So you have a cell. We have 50 to 100 trillion cells in our body. I mean, that's a freaking lot. So you have a cell. The receptor sites connect to the emotion that comes down, the peptide. Now, the more you feel a certain feeling, I'm frustrated, I can't lose weight, the more receptor sites are created on the cell. They're like little hairs. And they connect to, hey, Linda, welcome. And they connect to the peptide of how you're feeling. So let's say you have been feeling frustrated that you can't lose weight most of your life. Every single cell has a ton of receptor sites that connect to that feeling of frustrated, I can't lose weight. Every 2 months, your cells divide. And every 2 months, your cells divide with the number of receptor sites for that feeling. So that's why it feels normal to feel frustrated that you can't lose weight, because the cells of your body have more receptor sites for the feeling of I'm frustrated, I can't lose weight. That turns out to feel normal for you. And that's why you will sabotage every single diet you go on, because that's your perception. You're somebody who struggles with their weight. The perception is the consciousness. The reception is your consciousness. Here's what's really cool about this work. When you start to realize that the labels you put on yourself, I'm someone who struggles with my weight, I feel guilty and ashamed about my body, and you realize that those are just labels of perception that have come from trauma. All of that comes from trauma. When you're not feeling loving about yourself or loving about somebody else, there is some type of trauma that created a decision in your mind that you put a label on, and now you're living into that label. But that's not who you are. That's a part of yourself. It's a part of your personality, but it's not who you are. Like I said earlier, you are, the vibrational frequency of who you are is a unique expression of infinite intelligence that is all around us. That's why I did that one practice at the beginning, and I said, feel into the empty space that's around you. Every single one of us is going to transition out of their body. I'm going to die someday. You're going to die someday. Where we go is back into the field of all consciousness, of all vibrational frequency. I was just on the beach walking this morning and I met a woman who's in her 90s. Beautiful woman with bright pink hair. Like, seriously, I got to show you guys a picture. But she said her husband just transitioned out of his body a few years ago from Alzheimer's. She said, I've had a great life. She said, I had a great life. I said, man, I'm looking forward to saying that when I'm 90 years old. And she said, you know, I feel him. I feel him. She said, sometimes I really feel his energy, his spirit. And I said, that's because he hasn't left. I said, he's everywhere. He's in everything. And when you're actually feeling a love for him and an appreciation for him, you can feel his energy a lot more strongly. That perception of who you are, of who you think you are, grows. So I'm going to go back to that idea of the labels you put on yourself. When you have a perception of who you think you are and you're in it and you can't see anything else, that perception makes choices for your life. That perception literally, that the body literally sends a signal to your brain to do an action or to think a thought that keeps that perception alive, because it's who you think you are. But check this out. This is super, super cool. So Bruce Lipton talks about the expansion of consciousness. How you expand consciously is by understanding that your perceptions are merely labels and ideas of who you think you are, but they're not who you are. If you can actually feel a feeling and feel that feeling of I'm not good enough. I've had that feeling. I don't know, anybody else have that feeling of I'm not good enough? Yeah, thank you. Yes, all of us. So if you have that feeling, and I want you, let's go ahead and just check in. Feel that feeling of I'm not good enough and find where the root of it is in your body. For me, the feeling of I'm not good enough is really in my sacral chakra, my second energy center, kind of where my ovaries are. And so what you do with that is you breathe into it and you don't try to fix it. Don't try to fix it. Don't make it right or wrong or good or bad. Just let it be in your body. And you breathe into it and you go, okay, this feeling of I'm not good enough, it's okay that you're here. I get it. I've had a long journey. I've had trauma in my life. And for whatever reason, right now I'm feeling not good enough. It's okay that you're here. And you let it be in your body. Breathe into it. Let the feeling expand like you're trying to push the feeling into all the limbs of your body. Just let it be there. It's okay that you're here. I'm feeling I'm not good enough. It's all right. I know that you're here for a reason. And you breathe into it. And by the third breath, what do you guys feel? By the third breath of that, I want you to post in the thing. What do you guys start to feel if you let it be in your body? You don't try to fix it. You don't believe it's right or wrong or good or bad. Breathe into it and let it expand. And I'd love at least one person to tell me what happens when you let that feeling be in your body without trying to make it wrong. You're not arguing with it. You're not trying to fix it. You're not believing it. It's just there. And you breathe into it. What do you start to feel? For me, feeling an incompetence goes away. Yes, that's exactly right. So the way to empower yourself is to fully accept everything you think you are. Breathe into it. Don't try to argue with it or fix it or make it right or make it wrong. And you breathe into it. You see, the thing is it's not a mistake that you are here at this time in history. You're meant to be here. The universe needs you to be here. You are a unique expression of the infinite intelligence that is supposed to be here at this time in history. And you being you makes the world different. If you weren't here, it's like that one movie, It's a Wonderful Life. If you weren't here, so many people's lives would be different. I have a twin sister, and when we were born, I wasn't breathing. And they literally took me away and got me to breathe, and I came back and we're together. But had I not been here in this world, there's so many things that would have changed, not only with you guys not meeting me, but also my family. Same thing with you. It's not a mistake you have the personality you have. It's not a mistake you love what you love. You are supposed to be here. So what does that mean about the coronavirus? And what does that mean about the way the world is and the questions about the systems and where we're headed? Each one of us, the next thing that Bruce Lipton talks about is the next evolution of the next stage of evolution. The next stage of evolution is humanity, is we are actually creating something new. And that is the next evolutionary stage of humanity. And that also means that your evolutionary step for yourself is to realize that everything you have ever gone through is not a mistake. Everything, no matter how bad, no matter how horrific that you've gone through, your spirit can and is meant to emotionally expand through the trauma. Emotionally expand. That means fully accepting everything you've ever gone through, and don't make it right or wrong or good or bad. Feel into whatever it is you've ever felt. Let it be there and notice it starts to shift. Notice when you stop putting a label of good, bad, right, or wrong, it actually, and you breathe into it and you say, this is my experience in this life, in this lifetime, at this moment, this was my experience. And you let it be okay to be you. That'll start to shift. And then what'll happen is your heart will open up. What did I say earlier? Your heart is 100 times more powerful than your brain, 5,000 times more magnetic than your brain. When your heart starts to open up, you're going to get insights of what you need to do next in your life. You're going to get an insight. You're going to get an inspiration. This is where this summit came from. I was like, this was back in December, and I always say, okay, my business, Women Being Fit, what do you need next? What needs to happen next? And I asked that question and I let it go into the ethers. And then usually about 4:30 in the morning, I get an insight. And I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to do a summit. And then not only that, but back in October, Blossom Inner Wellness came to my brain somehow. I think it was also at 4:30 in the morning, which usually happens. So this is your meant to be here at this time in history. Something in this virus situation, in this lockdown situation, is a gift for you to emotionally expand. Now, here's a lesson that I learned recently around this. I have had my own beliefs about the systems in place, and I've been stating them quite clearly on my private Facebook page. And I've had some bumps up against other people. And recently I've had something in my heart that doesn't feel good. Now, when I trust my heart, I trust my intuition, I trust my heart. So if I'm up against something that doesn't feel good, I know that there's a lesson here for me and there's a shift that needs to happen, because for myself, I go toward what feels good. What does my heart tell me to do now? Where's the energy? Where's the energy for me to go? And I feel into that. Well, recently I've had the past couple of days, I've been going, gosh, this doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right to be arguing with people. It doesn't feel right to, be standing my ground so much and trying to convince people of a new paradigm. That doesn't feel right to me. What feels right? So this morning I did a live Facebook for my private Facebook, and I was like, what feels right is actually just letting go. And I'm just letting go. It's like, you know what, everybody? You believe what you want to believe. I'm going to hold my belief, and I'm going to make these steps for my life. This feels right for me. And you believe what you want to believe. And I trust that we're all I trust that the world is expanding to where she needs to expand to. Because I want to share one more thing with you. The world is going, our galaxy, our solar system is in a new place in the galaxy. It's going through a high vibrational frequency cloud, and you can check this out on NASA. Every single one of the planets is at a high vibrational frequency. Things are shifting and changing on all the planets, including Pluto. And our world is no different. There's a high vibrational frequency, and we're coming up on Sunday, which is going to be a solar eclipse, which is a new, which this has never happened on a solstice. An eclipse is happening on the solstice, which has not happened in a really, really long time. I can't remember if it's 200 years, maybe. I don't know if it's longer, but that's happening right now. What that means is a new beginning, a change. So this is the time to check in with your heart. Your vibrational frequency of who you are is meant to be here at this time in history. You are meant to be here. We need you here. And we need you to honor your heart and follow your intuition. So part of that is emotionally expanding through the labels of who you think you are. And I gave you some tools and some tips around that. And I want to invite you to check out the next End Dieting Hell program, because that program is a program that helps you to live in a body that you love. And I don't care if that means, it doesn't mean being the weight you've always wanted to be. It means living in a body you love, no matter what the weight is. And so I invite you to check it out, because what I've done is I've actually lowered the price by another $500, because I want that information out into the world. So if you're interested, check it out. You can go to womenbeingfit.com/end dieting hell. Women Being Fit. Let me put it in in the notes here, fit.com/end dieting hell. So that is the website. You might need to copy it and paste it on your URL. That's not a live link. But what I invite you to do, the number one way to empower yourself is to remember you're not of this world. You're not. This body is going to stay here. Your energy, the vibrational frequency of who you are, is going to emotionally expand and transition out. And you're going to go back into infinite love. When my aunt was transitioning out of her body from cancer, I was with her the last 2 weeks of her life. I stayed with her in the hospital and I slept in the, I slept in the bed next to her. And I remember she said, Michelle, she said, I'm afraid. She said, I'm scared. And I said, Aunt Terry, I said, there is nothing to be afraid of. I said, you are not going anywhere. I said, you are going to be transitioning into infinite love, a love that we as humans could never experience in our human bodies. I said, that's where you're going. And I just remember that I know, for me, I know this. I know this in every fiber of my being. So please know that for yourself. It is not a mistake that you're here at this time in history. It's not a mistake that we are going through this lockdown and this major transition of our world. And if you have lost your job and if you have lost your livelihood, I know that there's restaurants that will never open again and there's businesses that will never open again. And that can be really scary. And I want you to do one thing: get in nature, ground yourself, because we have forgotten that we are one with this energy. Why does it feel so good when you put your feet on the ground and you ground? Why does that feel so good? It's because you can actually feel the frequency of the planet. When you're standing there with the sun shining on your face, you're letting the energy of one of the most powerful balls of fire enter your body. So I invite you to do that. Ground yourself, take some deep breaths, let yourself be you, with your personality, with your quirkiness, with everything that makes you you. It's not a mistake you're here at this time in history, being yourself. I invite you to trust that there is a greater purpose for all of this, and trust that we may not see it for a while of what that purpose is, but I trust that that this world is going and moving toward peace and toward light and toward love for all people. And one of the things I want to share with you that I would love for you to write down, if you are in fear, is this question. I'm really curious, and this actually is a statement, not a question, but this statement. I'm really curious to see how this is going to work out. I'm really curious to see how this is going to work out. I wonder where my next payment's going to come. I wonder who I'm going to meet that's going to lead me toward a new position that's the exact position I've always wanted. I'm really curious to see how I'm going to be taken care of, because I know I'm always taken care of. And I'm really curious to see who I'm going to meet, what situations I'm going to have, what experiences I'm going to experience to guide me to where I need to be next, to make this world a better place. I'm really curious how this is going to work out, because I know I'm always taken care of. That's a statement that I've always asked myself when I myself have gotten into situations where I'm like, oh, what's going to happen now? Don't get me wrong. I take the hit. Sometimes I'm afraid. I've had sleepless nights. Sometimes I get angry. And then eventually when I ground myself and drop back into my heart, I go, okay, universe, guides, I'm curious to see how this is going to work out. You guys let me know when you figure it out. Show me what's next for me. And that's what I want to give to you. And I hope you've written that down. How has this call been for you guys? I'd love any comments. Is this helpful? Has this been helpful for you today? I just so love that we're here live. I love you guys so much. I know that this world is really kind of what's going on. And I truly know that we're all here together. Insightful. Thank you, Michael from Canada. If the End Dieting Hell program to live in a body you love is right for you, it's usually a $2,000 program. It was $1,000. I've dropped it down to $597, and there's a payment plan. That program, feel into your heart around that program. Basically, what that program is it helps you emotionally expand through the trauma that you've lived in around your body, through not feeling good enough, through feeling ashamed of your body, through feeling frustrated that you can't lose weight. It's not a diet and an exercise. It's not a diet and weight loss program. It's an emotional expansion program that guides you toward living in a body you love. And that's different for everybody. Uplifting. Thank you, Lori. Resonates with me. Thank you, Teresa. Awesome. So if you guys have any questions about that program or anything else, please email me. The upgrade package for the summit is going to be available for the next 24 hours at that discounted rate. So you're welcome to own all of these interviews, including this one. This one's going to be up on that Encore page soon, and you guys will be able to own that. You can own all of these interviews for whatever you want to pay. You can get the dive deeper and own all the bonuses, which is a ton of bonuses, for $54. And then those of you who are going on a journey with me to end dieting hell, you'll actually have 3 group calls with me where you can ask questions about your own journey. And it's a very different experience. Oh, one thing I wanted to do is last thing I wanted to do is to give you guys a quick video.
I have been working with Michelle for the past 3 months, and I was, before this journey, stuck, frustrated, not happy with who I was in my body, and most certainly didn't like myself. Doing this program has made me realize that it's my emotions and my unresolved emotions that have kept me stuck. My relationship with myself and food has completely changed. I love who I am, and I'm beginning to really like my body, and seeing myself transform has been wonderful. I would recommend this program to anyone who is stuck, frustrated, wants to change, doesn't like the body that they live in, and even doesn't like themselves. I didn't think it was possible for this kind of change, and it has changed me. And I recommend to anyone who wants to give it a go and work with Michelle, who is amazing, and change your life.